Hello, Holistic Health and Wellness Community. I'm Samantha and I own Not Now Therapeutics. And I am here to talk to you today about thoracic outlet syndrome. What is thoracic outlet syndrome anyway? Well, it is a condition that happens when your nerves that come through your neck get compressed by your muscles. And what happens is this causes radiating pain between your shoulder blades and can cause numbness and tingling down the arms. Sometimes when people think that they have carpal tunnel syndrome, they actually have thoracic outlet syndrome. So today we are going to be talking about what it is, how it happens, and how to get relief from it. So I have been a massage therapist for 23 years and I specialize in chronic pain relief. And I worked in physical therapy for 11 years in the traditional American insurance-based model, which I walked away from that system so that I could share all of this amazing information with you. I can't see your comments, but if you are here, I would love it if you could leave a comment, say hi. If you're catching the replay, you can hashtag replay. All of your comments just help to boost the algorithm so more people get access to this information, because these are the things that that a for-profit medical system doesn't really want you to know about your own personal healthcare and self-care. So let's just jump right in now that we've gotten that out of the way. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you so that you can understand more of what I'm talking about. Perfect. And there it is. I hope y'all are having a wonderful Tuesdays. These are my Tuesdays tips. I will be here every Tuesday at 5 o'clock p.m. Central Time to share with you a different ailment and what causes it, how to fix it. So, what is thoracic outlet syndrome? And again, I'm Samantha and I own Not Now Therapeutics. Okay. Thoracic outlet syndrome is a group of disorders, right? So it's all these different symptoms that happen when your blood vessels and the nerves in the space between your collarbone and your first rib become compressed. This can cause shoulder pain, it can cause neck pain, it can cause intrascapular pain in the back of your between your shoulder blades, and it can even cause numbness and tingling into your fingers. So I don't know if you can see this, but this is your collarbone. This is your sternum. This is your first rib. Your shoulder is over here somewhere. And as you can see, this is your brachial plexus. What is your brachial plexus? Your brachial plexus is all of the nerves that innervate your arm, right? And all up in here. Every muscle in your arm and in your hands is innervated from nerves that come from your neck, and they all come underneath your clavicle and above your first rib through this little space right here. And it can become compressed and cause a slew of issues in your life. Some of the causes of thoracic outlet syndrome: number one, poor posture. Chronic head forward position is going to cause that thoracic outlet space to be compressed. Lifting things that are too heavy. Improper form with exercises. Looking down at your phone constantly. I talk about this like so much. Please, for the love of all that is good and holy, bring that phone up to your face and stop looking down at it, or put it down. We really don't need to be on our phones all the time. And holding the phone between your shoulder and your ear like this, as you can see, it compresses that space. So here's some really great pictures of what I was just talking about. This person is holding their phone between their shoulder and their ear, and this space in here repetitively over time, over years, this posture is going to cause a lot of problems. Now, I realize that many of us don't use phones like this anymore, but I'm old and this is what we used to have to work with. And so people who are in their 50s and 60s can probably even remember when they had this little built up area on the phone so you could more easily hold it between your shoulder and your ear before they got us these lovely headsets that may or may not cause other issues in your life. And then I don't want to pick on this lady, but I want you to look at this lady and look at this man. Okay. I want you to observe that this man is like standing up straight, and look where his head is. He is looking forward. You can see this space in his neck. And when he lifts, you know what I mean? He's not compressing these nerves and blood vessels and all of these other things. Look at this lady. Now she's buff, right? Like she's looked great, but look at her neck. She's tucking her chin. And what happens is when you tuck your chin, when you lift, all of your rib cage and your chest elevates as you bring your chin closer to your chest. That is going to cause problems here in the thoracic outlet. Remember, all of these nerves come through this space, and that is going to get compressed, and this person is going to have issues over time. Hate to pick on her right now. And then we're going to talk about sleeping position. You know, is your pillow pushing your head up and compressing that nerve on the other side? So there's like all of these different things. I already talked about looking down at your phone, but all of these different things over time. One day is not going to bother you, but over time, if you've slept like this for 40 years, you're going to have some issues with your neck, right? And there's very non-invasive, holistic strategies that you can implement at home without having to go to specialists and all of these other people who are, you know, what are they going to do for you? Well, I'll tell you what they're going to do for you. They're going to give you pain pills. And that's not going to fix the structural imbalances that are causing your symptoms in the first place. The other thing that the medical community will do for you is they will refer you to someone else, which is a super expensive and fancy way of saying, I don't know what's going on with you. And I don't know like about you people out there in the world, but could you imagine going to work every day and getting paid to tell people that you don't know what's wrong with them? Like, what could be better than that? I wow. And it's like still like the gold standard in America. But if you don't want to do this, and you don't want to just be referred to somebody else, and you just don't want to be popped and cracked and, you know, all sorts of other things, and you are really looking for actual solutions to your problems, then you have to make changes in yourself. So I want you to look at these pain referral patterns. These are some of the things that I teach in my self-care programs. This is your pec major. This is a big muscle in your chest, as you can see. Look at how that pain goes all the way down the arm and into the fingers. So this is going to be a big player in your thoracic outlet syndrome as it lives here underneath of your clavicle and the chest. And as your chest rounds forward, it brings your head forward also. The other major player, and we're going to learn how to release these muscles at the end of this presentation. So I would stick around if I were you, and then we're going to do some hands-on learning things. It's going to be so much fun. The other major player in thoracic outlet syndrome is going to be your scalenes. And if you remember the picture that I showed you earlier, your brachial plexus comes right through this space. These muscles, when they're super tight, they compress these nerves and cause all of these symptoms. It'll cause pain in your chest, scapular pain. Remember that between the shoulder blade pain I was telling you about? And numbness and tingling, pain down the arm into those first 3 fingers. That's the median nerve. So oftentimes when people have pain in their hands, they go to somebody and they tell you that it's carpal tunnel syndrome. And what they do then is they go in and they cut that retinaculum that holds all of those tendons. But that is not a fix-it to this problem. It's just not. And oftentimes the numbness and tingling in the hands is not coming from the wrist. It's coming from the neck. And I know this from 11 years of working in physical therapy and seeing these surgeries that people are not seeing positive benefits from. So you may know somebody in your life like that. I don't know. I'm just here to communicate with you that there are things that you can do. So again, I own a company called Not Now Therapeutics, and I teach people online self-care programs to mitigate these conditions and to live a pain-free life and to have tools in your toolbox to be able to take care of your body, right? So that you are not going to be one of those people that's running around to all of these different practitioners and being frustrated and not know what's going on with you. So in my programs, as you can see, I've already given you information. Who tells you that? Who's ever told you, stop looking down at your phone? Don't hold the, you know what I mean? Get a different pillow. Like, not a lot of this information comes to you from the powers that be that benefit from you being sick. So in my programs, you will learn about your body and you will learn about what causes the dysfunction to begin with. Then, and we're going to do this when we're done with this presentation a little bit, we're going to learn hands-on methods. I teach my clients how to become their own massage therapist with foam rollers and balls in their own hands, so that you don't have to go running around to all of these different specialists and different people to fix you. You have a tool in your toolbox to help yourself. And again, I told you I worked in physical therapy for 11 years. So I'm going to teach you the exercises, true stabilization activities that you can do in less than 20 minutes per day that is going to be beneficial for your posture, for your body, and really help to create true core strengthening. It doesn't have anything to do with sit-ups or repetitive motions. I also, and we've already talked about some things, I'm going to teach you how to be accountable, understanding the implications of your habituated postures and repetitive movement patterns, such as tucking your chin when you're lifting or holding your phone between your ear. These things are really important if you want to feel amazing in your body so that you can live your best life, understanding that if you want to see changes, that you are the person who has to change, that these things that have happened to you come from things that you're doing. I understand that people have been in car accidents. I understand that people have had traumatic events. I understand like that these things do happen to people, but these things can also be changed by daily action and really taking accountability and responsibility for your health and your body. So these programs that I teach are for you if you are ready to take your health into your own hands, and if you understand the importance of investing in your own physical wellness, and if you are willing to do what it takes to create the changes that you want to see in your life. If you just want somebody to complain to, then I am not the person for you, and you should probably stop watching this now, because we're getting ready to teach you some hands-on methods to deal with these pains in your body. I have a couple of different ways of working with me. I do one-to-one coaching. If you're a super complicated person and you need like special attention, or if you've been referred to physical therapy and all of these things and you've not seen success and you need that one-on-one coaching, I do that in a 12-week program that helps you improve your mobility, flexibility, strength, and your overall physical vitality. And what I mean by that is nobody feels great when they're in 9 out of 10 pain. You don't show up in your life the way you would want to if you were feeling amazing. And then again, you understand and have tangible strategies how to keep this away. The other way I have of working with Not Now Therapeutics is our self-care membership. So it is a $97 membership. I have self-care videos for all of the major body parts ailments that any normal person kind of suffers from: headaches and TMJ and shoulder pain and back pain and hip pain and all these things that people spend hundreds of thousands of dollars a year fixing. I have classes for all these things that teaches you how to work on your own body. They're pre-recorded videos. You have access to them all the time, and you get a live class with me every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is so that you have tools in your toolbox in your back pocket, so that if you were like, oh my gosh, my back, you don't feel like you have to run to the doctor. You don't feel like you have to run. You have a tool to utilize as your first course of action. So if this sounds good to you and you're like, wow, that's amazing, and you want to talk to me more about these programs that are available to you, you can send me an email at Samantha@notnowtherapeutics.com. That's not with a K. See how clever that is? You could also DM me right here on Facebook, which is another excellent way of getting in touch with me. I do have a Facebook group where I also share tips and tricks and all sorts of really great material for getting relief from pain naturally with non-invasive and holistic strategies. And then the other thing that I invite you to do is to schedule a no-cost strategy session. So what that is I will get together with you for 45 minutes and you will tell me about what is going on with your body. And not only will I tell you what I kind of think is going on, but that you will have an actionable plan. And I may or may not invite you to work with me, and we just see what works out best for both of us. I may say, oh, that's super complicated, and refer you to somebody else. But oftentimes, after all of these years, I have a pretty good idea of what's going on with people. So these programs are really accessible and they don't break the bank. So this is like really a fantastic way to up your self-care game and feel amazing in your body and really take responsibility for your experience. So what I always say is we cannot be upset by the results that we do not get from the work that we do not do. So let's go ahead and get to work. We're going to learn how to release our pecs and how to release our scalenes. And you will get a small sense of what it's like to work with me in these programs. I hope that sounds great. And I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And hello. So we've already talked about your pec major. Your pec major covers this whole space of your chest. It comes off of your clavicle and your sternum and comes all the way out to your shoulder. Why this is important is because if my pecs are shortened or tight, what that's going to do is it's going to draw my shoulders forward like this. Anybody seen anybody who looks like that? The back of their body is rounded. This space gets shortened. And from here, my head has to come forward, right? Because gravity. This can't be like this and my head will be way back here. That's like, nobody does that, right? The head comes forward to stay in alignment with the spine. So one of the things that I would encourage you to do is when you are standing, you want to stand with your palms open or sitting with your palms open and not crossed arms. See how that automatically closes off that space? This is where your brachial plexus comes through. We can't close off that space. And then these muscles in the back are all stretched out and weak, and chronic pain happens in muscles that are stretched out and weakened over time. Time is truly the secret ingredient. So let's use our hand, and we're just going to start releasing this muscle in here. It's not going to take too terribly long of a period of time. So all you're going to do is come under your clavicle, and you're just going to use your fingers, right? Right now, this is what we got. Sometimes I use balls. but right now we're going to use our fingers and we're just going to push into this place. And when you feel something that feels exquisite or like it really wants your attention, you just hang out there for a minute until it feels different. I talk about using a light system. So we all know the light system, green, yellow, red, right? Green is go. That means nothing's there. Just move on past it. Red is stop, right? It's too hard. You're putting too much pressure on it. If it's making you sweat and you feel like you're like, can't breathe, that's too much pressure. You just ease up your pressure. I want to live in yellow land. And as my granny says, yellow means stop and wait, even if you're too late. So we're going to hold that yellow land until it turns green or until you feel the tissue change. And that is actually your muscle relaxing, or the trigger point in your muscle relaxing. So we're just going to cover a lot of territory here in the pec. And I'm just pushing. Perfect. I'm just using my hands and finding the places that are sore. Now, a lot of the trigger points for pec major live out here more towards your armpit. So as you get out towards that space, you may feel a little bit more. And one of the things that I like to do is just grab onto that pec right there and just squeeze it. It doesn't feel amazing, but the results are what you're going after. And again, I don't have to squeeze it until it's red. I'm living in yellow land until it turns green. So from here, I'm going to give it a nice squeeze. And then I'm just going to open my arm up at a 90-degree angle. Great. Stretching that fascia, coming back and opening up on a 45-degree angle, stretching that fascia. Ooh, it may feel like, I hate this term, but like an Indian burn. I hate that term. I don't like it, but it feels burny sensation. That is your fascia stretching. So we're going to come out here to this 90-degree angle and then up to that 45-degree angle. Beautiful. We're going to do that one more time in each spot. And I'm holding that tissue. I'm stretching that muscle. I release the trigger points. I'm opening up and bringing fresh blood supply to that area. And those two sides probably feel very different right now. So let's go ahead and do the other side. So I'm just going to start underneath that clavicle again, and I'm just going to start looking for places that may feel sore. You may even feel like little twitching underneath of your fingers. Those muscle fasciculations happen because you're stretching the muscle. It means that it needs it. If your muscle is bouncing all over the place when you touch it, it really needs to be released. Ooh. Yeah, and I feel things. So my right arm is my dominant arm. So I feel a lot more on this side. I'm just going to hold until it starts to turn green. Beautiful. I'm going to hold these places. And you're just looking. I'm literally looking for the places that hurt so that I can hold them and allow them to release. Great. And again, this is just a little crash course, right? So then you're going to grab on to that pec major here, and give it a squeeze. The trigger points mostly live out towards the edge. Yeah, great work. And then we're going to hold that tissue. We're going to do the stretch like we did on the other side. So you take a nice deep breath in. And as you exhale, you're going to bring that arm out to 90 degrees, stretching that fascia. This side's a lot tighter for me. And then we're going to come up on that 45-degree angle. And then we're going to inhale and exhale 90 degrees. And inhale and exhale 45 degrees. We're going to do one more time. Inhale and exhale. And inhale and exhale. Beautiful work. Let's go ahead and roll those shoulders back. Great job. My neck feels a little bit looser because I've allowed this to come back. You would be shocked at how much these pecs get involved. And oftentimes when we're working out at the gym, we're only working our pecs because we can see them, guys. So yeah, working that front body, but we absolutely have to focus on the back side too, because the back is what gets stretched out and weakened over time, and that's why it hurts. So let's talk to our scalenes. Your scalenes, there's this little triangle right here that your scalenes live in. You want to be behind your sternocleidomastoid, and you know where that is because if you drop your head, your ear towards your shoulder and lift your chin away, you see that big muscle, you can feel it. It'll pop right into your hand if you put your hand there. You want to be behind it. And I'm just going to bring my hand like this to the side of my neck, and I'm just going to press, and I already feel some radiating pain down my arm. I already feel it. And I'm not pressing hard. And I felt that release, right? And I might come in with my thumb and just start pushing more in and down into this space. Oh yeah. I feel that in the back of my shoulder blade and the top of my shoulder. And if this is uncomfortable for you and you cannot hold your hand like that, you can use your finger like this and press with your hand into that space. Or use your other thumb and bring your thumb there and press. That's one of the ways I really like to press in there. And I'm going to soften my head so that my muscles aren't pushing me out. I feel that all the way in the back of my shoulder. I feel it in my elbow and all the way down my arm, even into these fingers. I feel that. Great work. Let's go ahead and do the other side. Again, it doesn't take so much time. These are little things you could do multiple times a day. You know, we're not beating the snot out of ourselves. Woo! Right? So you can see that muscle. I'm behind it and I'm pressing in with my thumb. I can work my way down. And again, if you don't love holding your hand like this, you can just change to using this part of your thumb right there in that space. That works out very nicely. Woo! Feel that. And again, you're just looking for change. I'm not digging into my neck. I'm pressing, I'm feeling, and I'm allowing those muscles to relax. Great work. Let's go ahead and roll those shoulders back. Oh, I don't know if you heard my neck crack, but there it went. And then what I'm going to do to stretch these muscles is I am going to hold my clavicle down. I'm going to take a nice deep breath. And then I'm just going to lift my neck up and away. I'm not going to compress in the back, but I'm just going to lift up and away from my hand. Great job. Inhale and come back. And exhale. And inhaling, come back. And exhale up and away. And let's do the other side. I'm going to take a nice inhale and exhale. I'm just going to lift up and away. Keeping that jaw closed. The more you keep your jaw closed, the more of a stretch you're going to get. Inhale, exhale. And inhale and exhale. Great work. Go ahead and roll those shoulders back. I'm going to hold my hands up and just take some nice deep breaths. Feeling my shoulders opening, my head coming back in space. You should feel amazing right now. So if this short little snippet benefited you and you feel amazing, I encourage you to leave a comment. Let me know how this worked out for you. Get in touch with me. I'm super approachable. And I really hope that this helps you in your life. If you are a person who suffers from thoracic outlet syndrome or neck pain with numbness and tingling down your arms, I encourage you to reach out and get some self-care things that you can do at home that's going to help you in your life feel amazing in your body. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I'd love to thank Brittany Prince and Chris Purton for allowing me to be part of this group. I love this community and I'm here to support you. So I hope that you have a really wonderful evening, and I hope to hear from you and that you embrace feeling amazing in your body. Have a great night.